Imagine hearing God's voice, clear as a bell, telling you to go somewhere you absolutely, positively did not want to go. What would you do? Obey, or run the other way? As fast as your feet could carry you, one prophet tried to run, setting off on an adventure that included a violent storm, a terrified crew, and a very, very big fish. This is a story about trying to escape God's plan and learning that His will always finds you, no matter how far you try to swim. Welcome back to Gospel Glimpse. Last time, we witnessed the incredible miracle of Elisha raising the Shunammite woman's son from the dead. Today, we're diving into one of the most famous and wildest stories in the Bible, the prophet Jonah and his unforgettable encounter with a great fish. Get ready for the dramatic and deeply meaningful story of Jonah and the great fish. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, a prophet, saying, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me." Now, Nineveh was a massive, powerful city, full of violent and wicked people. They were also enemies of Israel. Jonah did not want to go there. He knew that if he went, and if the people repented, God, in His mercy, might forgive them. And Jonah didn't want their enemies to be forgiven. So, instead of obeying God, Jonah decided to run. He went down to the port city of Joppa, found a ship heading to Tarshish which was in the opposite direction from Nineveh, and bought a ticket. He thought he could sail far, far away from God's presence and His command. But you can't run from God. As the ship sailed, a violent storm erupted on the sea. The winds howled, the waves crashed, and the ship was in danger of breaking apart. The sailors, terrified, cried out to their gods and threw cargo overboard to lighten the ship. But Jonah, fast asleep below deck, was oblivious. The captain found him and woke him up. "How can you sleep?" he shouted. "Get up and call on your God. Maybe He will take notice of us and spare us from perishing." The sailors, believing someone on board had angered the gods, cast lots to find out who was responsible for this terrible storm. The lot fell on Jonah. "Tell us," they demanded, "who is responsible for making all this trouble for us? What kind of work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country? From what people are you?" Jonah confessed, "I am a Hebrew and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." And he told them that he was running away from the Lord. The sailors were terrified. "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us?" they asked. Jonah replied, "Pick me up and throw me into the sea, and it will become calm. I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." The sailors, though reluctant, eventually had no choice. They cried out to the Lord, begging for forgiveness, and then picked up Jonah and threw him overboard. Immediately, the raging sea grew calm. The sailors, filled with awe, offered a sacrifice to the Lord. But God had a plan for Jonah, even in the depths of the sea. The Lord provided a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Imagine being in there. Dark, smelly, slimy, and utterly terrifying. From inside the fish, Jonah cried out to the Lord his God. He prayed a prayer of repentance, acknowledging his sin and crying out for salvation. "You hurled me into the depths," he prayed, "but you brought my life up from the pit, Lord my God. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land." What a relief! But the story wasn't over. The word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you." This time, Jonah obeyed. He went to Nineveh, a city so vast it took 3 days to cross. He walked through the city, proclaiming, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown." And something incredible happened. The Ninevites, from the king down to the humblest citizen, believed God. They declared a fast, put on sackcloth, and repented of their wicked ways. They cried out to God, and God, in His immense mercy, saw their repentance and decided not to bring on the destruction He had threatened. This made Jonah angry. He stormed out of the city, sat down, and complained to God. "Didn't I say this would happen, Lord, when I was still at home? That is why I was so quick to flee to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity." Jonah was upset that God had shown mercy to his enemies. God, in his patience, provided a leafy plant to grow over Jonah, giving him shade and making him happy. But the next day, God sent a worm to chew the plant, and it withered. Then a scorching east wind blew, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him faint. He wished he were dead. God asked Jonah, "Is it right for you to be angry about the plant?" Jonah replied, "It is. I am so angry I wish I were dead." Then the Lord said, "You have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. And should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left hand, also many animals?" The story ends there, with God's question hanging in the air. It's a powerful lesson, not just for Jonah, but for all of us. The story of Jonah is a dramatic reminder that we cannot run from God's will. He is everywhere, and his plans will always find us. It teaches us about God's incredible mercy, not just for us, but for everyone, even our enemies. And it challenges us to examine our own hearts. Are we willing to obey God even when his will goes against our own desires, especially when it comes to showing compassion to others? What do you think is the most surprising part of Jonah's story? His attempt to run from God, his prayer from inside the fish, or God's mercy on Nineveh? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Our journey through the Bible is far from over. Next time, we'll dive into another thrilling story from the books of prophets as we witness the incredible vision of Ezekiel and the Valley of Dry Bones. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing Bible stories. Thank you for watching. Do well to like, subscribe, and drop a comment.